All right, well, I just want to welcome everyone to another episode of our G22 Outdoor Adventures. And in the last couple of videos, one, you saw me make this lure, what I called my fire perch, and it was made from oak, and it's going to be a twitch bait that we're going to use this spring. The previous video before that one, I made one of these. Remember the St. Clair Killer? But you know, if you guys also remember the old ran shads that I made. Well, I kind of changed the design up a little bit, and I started cutting the lures in half, and I came up with something like this. And then I bought a planer, so that's gonna up our game a little bit. So we're gonna add that to the channel, to our lure making. And I made this as my first lure using that planer, where I planed the boards down to about maybe a ½ inch. And then cut it from there. And this came out pretty good. I actually liked it. All the wire comes right down the middle, and I have a middle already marked, and it's beautiful. So someone messaged me, and they wanted me to make them something like this and like this, but in this lemon head type pattern. So I'm going to do a video on that. So we're going to use the planer. We're going to get some cedar, get the wood planed out, get it cut, glued together and everything, and then we'll get started making a lure. So let's get started, okay? We'll see you over at the planer. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut the cedar. Now it's time to run our cedar plank. We want to smooth out that rough edge, but we're going to take this down to probably about a ½ inch. And that way, when we cut it in half and we glue it together, it'll be perfect all the way around. Okay, so let's get started on this. Oh, I forgot to turn my vacuum on. It shouldn't have been like that. Oh well. Okay. Okay, so for the ranch hand style lure, we've got the wood all cut out here, and we're going to get this measured out, cut in half. We'll glue the pieces together temporarily, and then once all that glue is set, we'll cut our diving lip, get it all carved out, and then we'll get it all separated once it's carved and sanded. And that way we can start routing our through wire channel. Okay, so we'll see you guys at the table saw. Now we're going to be cutting the plank for the 7½ inch St. Clair Killer. Okay, there we got the two pieces cut out. We'll get those glued together. Okay, so I've got the lure drawn out. This one I had pre-cut, so they're already pre-glued. So I'm going to get this all cut out over here. I got this measured out, but I'm going to see how high it goes. I don't think we're too high, but I also don't think that we're probably not high enough. So, and probably what we could do is we could probably mark the blade on how high we want this. We can mark it on here. So that way we know we can just raise the blade up to that point. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie and just mark that spot all the way across. So that way, when I go to cut these again, I know I can raise it up to that black line, and I'll know I'm right as far deep as I need to be. Okay, so let's get this cut out now. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good right there. So now we're going to do the larger one. So I have the larger one over here, and we're going to cut it the same way, the same depth. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Now that was interesting. Cut them both the same. Well, actually that one was off a little. Okay. Well, this one we're just going to need a little bit longer diving lip. That's all. Okay. All right. So now it's time to cut these out. Okay. Well, I decided I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to cut these first. And then once I figure out exactly where I'm going to put that lead hole. Then I can do all my stuff with the lure squared up like this and getting it all cut and everything. So as of right now, we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it out. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so there we go. We got them both cut out. Now, next is to get all this sanded off, sanded smooth and everything. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so off to the belt sander, and we're going to get all this sanded nice and smooth, and then we'll figure out where we're going to put our lead hole, which is going to encase the hook hanger on both of them. I mean, essentially these lures are kind of the same, so. All right, let's get started. Okay, time to get the lead holes drilled out. And on this big one, we're going with 1/2-inch Forstner bit. There we go. And it looks like it's dead center. Okay, excellent. Oh, we should get the eye sockets drilled out while we have the 1/2-inch. Let's do that real quick. Eye sockets while I have the 1/2-inch out. A little bit more. Okay. get these all drawn out now. Okay, and then same thing. All right. There we go. Looks pretty equal. Look at that. That looks really, I like them. All right, now it's time to draw our chamfer lines. All right, chamfer lines. Okay. There we go. I'm going to do it a little bit different today. Do it the same way. Okay. Okay. Then we take a plate. We got the chamfer lines all drawn out. Let's carve. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to do the next one. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, a little bit more. Be time to sand it. It's looking like a lure. Then we'll be able to take it apart and route the through wire. Okay, and there we go. We're going to do some sanding on it next. Oh, that looks good. Dang, that looks good. Wow. Continue on. Underneath. We'll finish that off. Okay, looking good. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. All we're going to have to do is some finish sanding on it, and it'll be good to go. Oops, sorry. That looks pretty darn good. Still got a lot of sanding to do on it, but we're getting there. It's encouraging. Okay. There we go. Still got lots and lots of sanding to do. This just gets the rough shape down, and we do all of our finishing before we start do the epoxy. All right, I like that. Looking pretty darn good. So now it's time to take and just do some hand sanding on it, and I'm going to do all that off camera. So we'll see when we're ready to get it all separated and get the through wire routed out. Okay, well, it is now time to take it apart. So let's see if we can get this apart. There we go. All right, there's that one. I think we did pretty good on that. Now let's try this one. There we go. Got it. Let's get that apart. Oh boy. There we go. All right, so it was just some glue there and some glue there that were holding it together. And there we go. Okay, so now I need to get all of this routed. Okay, so we're going to do our through wire channels. Okay, we're going to try this again. Let's route the through wire channel. Hey, let's see how my through wire fits. Oh, wow, you're pretty good. Look at that. Just got to drill up a little bit more. And let's just cut that off. There, let's check again. Excellent. Right there. Okay, let's drill it out a little bit more. Okay. That fits in nicely. I want to route this out a little bit more. So that way this thing sits right in the through wire channel. The next step is going to be probably silver scales. And then I'm going to paint over the primer. We're going to paint some wicked opaque white over the primer and then do the scales, and then we'll get started on the rest of it. Okay, so let's get started on all of this now. Okay, so the first color is going to be wicked opaque white, and we're going to use that on all three. So let's do that now. Our first color, wicked opaque white. Okay, we're going to dry that off, and on to the next lure. Okay, let's get that dried off. Okay, so now I'm going to take a transparent black, and what we're going to do is we are going to spray up this way. I'm going to go very, very light because I want that stuff to pool. I want the paint to pool like right in these little areas here. Okay, so we're going to go pretty light, just across the top and across this side right here before we put on our silver scales. That'll work just like that. I like it. Okay, so I've done a lot of sanding. I got everything glued together, got the lead hole sealed, and now it's time to cut some diving lips out that are going to go on these two, and we'll get them epoxied, and then we'll get all of these pinned, and then after that it's our seal coat, and then we start painting. So let's get over to the bandsaw, now it's time just to kind of sand this off and smooth it out. Off to the belt sander. Okay, there's one. Okay, there we go. As you can see, we got the lip nice and polished. Did a lot of sanding and polishing on this. And now it's time to get them epoxied, and then we'll drill a couple holes and get them all pinned. All right, well, hey, look at this. Now it's time to do some painting. Got all the prep work done. I actually tried this out on our river over here, and I'll tell you what, these lures really swam, I think, right out of the box without any tuning. So I'm going to make more of these, and I'm probably going to start selling them too. Okay, so the very first color I'm going to use is a paint I have never used before. It's a Vallejo primer, and it's in white. I did a little bit of testing, tried it out a little bit, and it came out really nice on one of my other lures. So we're going to put it on all three of these, and let's get started, okay? All right, so now we're going to do some painting. Let's get this dried off. Oh, I think we thinned it out way too much. Or we didn't pull it out far enough. Either way, we'll get it dry. Now it's time to do the silver scales, and I'm going to take the silver this way, and we'll see how this looks after we dry it. Okay, so the next color that we're going to paint for the scales, Wicked Metallic Silver. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to start from the back here and work our way to the front. So that way, all we're going to do is pull that paint right up at the front of these scales, here at the front, okay? Okay, let's dry that off, and we're going to call the scales done, and we'll do an unveil. All right, we got it all dry, so let's do an unveil. Here we go. Oh yeah, nice. What do you guys think of that? Okay, big scale unveil for the larger lemon head. There we go. Oh yeah. That looks really good. Okay, I like that a lot. Now it's time to throw some epoxy on this, put it on rotisserie, and that way we can start on the head. Okay, well, we're gonna start painting the heads white, and then this tail over here white, getting prepared for our lemon head. The white is done. Got the white all painted on the head and the tail, as you guys can see. And then I did a pearl white for the belly, and that's how that's going to stay. So now it's time to, I'm going to do a little gill accent here with some red. And for this, we're using a Wicked Red. And we don't have to do, like, it doesn't have to be a really heavy paint. It's just a quick spritz on it. There, just like that. That's all we need. Boy, I hope I recorded this because this is pretty nice. I like this. Got the chartreuse lemon head, the tail. I haven't finished the tail yet, but I think the head is almost done. Got the gill accents. I'm going to put a little bit of blood stuff here with the brush. So, you know, let's do that right now. Let's get the brush and let's put some red in here. Put a little bit of red on here. There. Don't need that much. I'm going to take our brush. There. And all we're going to do is just kind of There we go. Like that. Okay. I like that. So there we go. Next is, there's like a black or brown spot that goes on the bottom, but I got to look on how the guy wants it. Okay, so there's a little, we're going to take the airbrush and put a little bit of black right in here. Okay, so for that undertail accent that's right here, I'm going to use a transparent black. And it looks like they just go very light, so that's all I'm going to do. Okay, so we're just going to go like this. There. Okay. Next are the eyes. All right. Well, I'm starting on the eyes, and this is some Mylar that I used some super glue on and super glued it in. Next, we're going to take some glass eyes, these glass half beads. We're going to paint some pupils in them. Maybe try to get an iris out of it too, right here. And make a couple eyes. And this thing will be truly 100% custom made. So let's use some black airbrush paint and we'll get this painted. Instead of using the airbrush, we're going to use the back of a brush to make our pupils. All right, here we go. It's not in the middle. There we are. Okay, let's try that out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some small dab of 5-minute epoxy, and we'll get those eyes epoxied in, and we'll get it autographed, and then I guess I'll call it done, because then I can take all the tape off and then get everything cleaned up before we put the final coat of epoxy on. All right, now we're going to do the black part of the tail. Okay, that's done. Now it's time to do the eyes. Okay, time for the Mylar. Okay, well, look what I have here. A brand new airbrush. My other brush, the nozzle wasn't fitting back in anymore, so we had to get a new one. And I got it's called a Gahaleri. It looks like a precision airbrush. Has a really nice heavy feel to it. And yeah, so we're gonna finish painting these lures. Now I thought I was done with them because I put the eyeballs in and everything. We did the eyes, did all the finished detail, got it all signed. But then I'm kind of looking at it and decide something's missing, especially on the large one. Now I don't know if I'll go ahead and do it on the little one, but I made a stencil for a fin, and we're gonna put a fin on this. But I don't know if I'm gonna do it on here. Yeah, you know what? I probably am. Yeah, I think we'll put a fin on this one too. But we're gonna make the fins exactly the same. I'm gonna do it on one of the lures on camera, and then we'll do the remainder of the other lure off camera. So I'll do one side on camera, I'll do the remainder on the other side, probably off camera, and then show you guys when everything's done, when we're ready to put the epoxy on. Okay, so we're going to get started here. And the very first color I'm going to use is going to be this Wicked Metallic Silver. Because if I remember, I think it's the color that I used on the scales. And before we do any of that, what I want to do is I want to take and I want to put a border of tape on this, so that way we don't get any overspray on the lure itself. Okay, so this is a painter's tape, and then I want to get it lined up with the end of at the very beginning of the hook hanger, and then I want to come out to right about there, and we're going to take our tape and we're going to tape the edges down. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get this lure out of the way, and let's get our paint and our airbrush. Okay, Wicked Metallic Silver. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do the fin. Okay, the next color that we're going to do is obviously the chartreuse, but I'm going to put a chartreuse and I'm going to do a fluorescent green in the fin as well. Just add a little bit of color to it in contrast. So we're going to do fluorescent yellow or chartreuse over the silver, but we're going to put this over it just like that, and then we're going to crinkle it. Just a drop of fluorescent yellow. I decided not to use the cup if we're going to just use a small amount of paint on here. Let's get this situated to a point where we can spray. Okay. Next color is going to be fluorescent green. And then after that, we're going to put a little bit of black and just kind of accent it a little bit. Fluorescent green is the next one. And we're going to crinkle it again. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to do an accent color. That's black. Okay, like I said, all we're going to do is just shade this out a little bit. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, and here we are, the finished lure. Got the fin. Got the fins all done. Look at that thing. That looks really awesome. And as one of my subscribers says, the beauty shot. And then another commenter on one of my Tennessee shad videos called these St. Clair shad. So I guess that's what they're going to be named. So we'll name this the St. Clair shad. And then I guess this one, when it's all done, we can call this St. Clair Shad Jr.